It is 4 p.m. We're bringing you the developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Patrick Paez.
And I'm Lingao. Some stories we're watching this Friday, May 3rd. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says the damage to Philippine vessels and injuries to their crew is, and we quote, irresponsible behavior by China. Austin was reacting to the aggression of Bajo de Masinloc on April 30, where Beijing once again fired water cannons at 2 Philippine government boats. Cagayan de Oro Representative Lordan Swan believes the declaration of a state of emergency in Cagayan de Oro was unnecessary and had no legal basis. Swan also slammed the CDO Water District for its alleged lack of urgency on the water supply issue in the province.
And the National Bureau of Investigation is monitoring Cedric Lee as his blood pressure continues to spike. But authorities said his condition is stable at the moment. Lee surrendered to the NBI last night after he was sentenced to life in prison along with 3 others. This was over the serious legal detention case filed by actor-host Vong Navarro.
And joining us today, Ana Marie Pamintuan, the editor-in-chief of the Philippine Star, and of course, Tito Ronald Llamas, Storycon's de facto political pundit. Ami, Ronald.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy
Thank God it's
Thursday.
Thursday pa lang. Ay, Thursday pa lang pala, no? Friday ngayon.
Thursday.
At tagal mo nawala eh.
Friday. Ano ba yan?
Friday.
Friday.
Okay. Ronald, anong feeling mo pag naririnig mo yung de facto political pundit? Oo, ng One News. Kasi it's not a term that's commonly used. It's not a title.
Actually, gusto ko humalakak, pero subdued ako pag nasa story.
I wonder kung naiintriga yung mga tao kasi it's not exactly a term that we normally apply, di ba? Either you are a resident legal or a political
Lalo na
analyst.
kung yung bumabanggit, may ngisi.
Iyon.
Grabe ka naman. Appreciation smile yun. Appreciation smile yun.
Okay, Ami, alam ko nag-banner yung storya natin kahapon in our interview with Senator Sonny Trillanes. I'll just show you
Yes.
well, it's on the website, but it also made banner story
Yes.
on the paper, no? But for tomorrow, Ami, may nakahanda na ba sa banner story niyo bukas?
Hinahabol natin yung reaction, of course, ng Duterte camp. Ang sabi ni former Executive Secretary na Jaldea, kapag naririnig daw ni former President Duterte yung ICC, nagde-deadma lang eh.
Okay. Alam mo, Ami, actually, in a
At saka
while...
syempre, they are pointing out na ang position, official position anyway, ng
Presidente.
Marcos administration, walang jurisdiction dito ang ICC. So, baliwala daw yung arrest warrant na yan. Which is actually true, di ba?
Oo. Okay.
No.
Yeah,
Saka babanggitin ko World Press Freedom Day ngayon, ha? Happy World Press Freedom Day.
Happy World Press
me
Freedom.
Happy World Press Freedom
Bumaba
Day.
tayo ng 2 slot. Difficult pa rin daw ang environment natin for journalists.
Going back to your banner story today, this morning at the
Yeah.
Philippine Star, I mean, actually, we will be having in a bit, here on Storycon, the former presidential spokesman of Duterte, Harry Roque. So maybe we can get
Yes.
some reaction from him.
Yes,
Given that abogado siya, alam niyang proseso niyan, at saka i-examine natin kung tama ba yung timetable na binibigay na sinasabi ni Senator Trillanes na mid-June, third quarter, mga June to
Yes.
July.
Yes.
Noon.
Just
Kasi
for
may
those...
sinulat na rin siya noon si Harry Roque na balita nga daw nila, may lalabas nga daw na arrest warrant. Although he didn't specify kung kailan.
Pero just for those who were not able to read the newspaper today in Star, ito yung story. ICC arrest for Duterte VP Sara expected according to Trillanes. Expected daw mag-issue ang arrest warrant ng ICC against Duterte by mid-year and for VP Sara and other personalities in subsequent batches in connection with the war on drugs, according to Senator Antonio Trillanes IV. That's what he told Storycon yesterday on One News.
Just to establish, I think we were able to establish yesterday, Ami, no, Senator Trillanes has been speaking a lot about ICC case investigation. Medyo very bold yung statement siya. But yesterday we asked him, first thing, if he had any participation in getting those testimonies, and he said yes.
Yeah.
He was instrumental in getting some of those testimonies. The second thing is, we asked him if he has a line to ICC, and I think his answer was also yes. We're just taking his words for it, pero at least he said as much na hindi lang siya nagmamarites, may linya siya sa ICC, nakatulong siya dun sa pagkuha ng mga testimonya ng ilang mga testigo. And the third thing we ask is if he has a line or a hidden line to the administration. Yun ang ayaw niya sagutin.
Yan ang importante. Although, if we discuss the politics in Caloocan at binanggit nga niya na dati silang nationalista ni ni President Marcos at dati sila magkapit-bahay doon sa Senado, hindi ba? Sa mga sila sa sitting arrangement nila, magkalapit sila.
Right.
So, magkaibigan sila, no? And he's saying, tinanong natin, di ba, saan partido ka tatakbo sa Caloocan? Mukhang hindi, kung sakasakali man, baka hindi naman i-endorse siguro, pero sabi niya, pwede naman daw na dalawang kandidato na administration in a particular LGU, di ba? Hindi naman niya sinabing dalawa sila.
The term he used was
pero
zona libre. I think zona libre. Ronald, paliwanag ang zona libre.
Zona libre, dahil hindi ma-resolve yung sino yung magdadala ng CONA. No, yung certificate of doon sa lugar na yan. So ang gagawin diyan ay zona libre. Ibig sabihin, takbo sila bilang individual pero hindi nila dala yung administrasyon.
Okay.
No? Officially hindi nila dala.
So it's the same as saying na pareho silang administration.
Yes.
Para magkakalaban sila.
Yes.
Zona libre.
So nagkakaroon ngayon ng mga spekulasyon na nagiging facilitator ba siya ng ICC with the blessing, kahit hindi formal blessing ng administrasyon. Kasi meron na rin tayo naririnig na ganong mga himutok from the Duterte camp naman at in particular, tuwing nababanggit daw yung about the cocaine use of the president, bigla daw lumalabas tong ICC issue. Pero ganyang mga lumalabas.
Kahapon din namin
alleged cocaine use.
Nabanggit din ni Senator Sunny Trillanes na parang may nuancing dun sa public statement ng presidente at dun sa actual na gagawin niya. Yun yung sinabi niya kahapon. At sa mga interviews niya, lagi niya sinasabi yun.
Okay, his exact quote of Senator Sunny Trillanes was, the president will say what he has to say, but he will do what he has to do. So this is in response to our question. The president has been quite consistent in saying that his administration will not cooperate with the ICC. Hindi man nagbabago yun. Despite persistent speculations na eto nga, gumagalaw yung investigasyon, may parating na arrest warrant, etc.
Which is logical dahil hindi naman tayo miyembro ng ICC ngayon. No? Although sabi nga ni Presidente last year, ay pinag-aaralan kung
it's under study.
Kung babalik o hindi.
Okay.
At saka in fact, may binanggit din si Senator Trillanes, no, na parang they're looking at ways kung sakasakaling ang lumabas yung ICC arrest, kung paano ita-turn over yung mga ina-arresto without us having to rejoin the Rome Statute. Yun ang medyo hindi ko masyadong malinawan.
I guess this is the best time to bring in our next guest. Former Duterte presidential spokesman of President Duterte, Mr. Harry Roque.
Attorney.
Yes, magandang hapon po sa inyo at magandang hapon, Pilipinas.
Yes. Sec,
Good afternoon, Attorney.
Ami, first question. Ikaw na.
Yes, Attorney, yun na nga, meron tayong story na yun. Of course, si Senator Trillanes, he admitted being an informal facilitator of the ICC for witnesses dito sa Pilipinas who cooperated with the ICC at sinabi niya, meron nga daw arrest warrant na inaasahan for the former president muna, first batch, by mid-June or mid-year, June or July, and then next batches daw for the other personalities who were specifically asked about VP Sara at sinabi niya possible. So I think you wrote about may narinig na rin kayo na meron nga kayong nababalitaan na may lalabas na arrest warrant. Can you tell us more about it and your comment on the former senator's statements?
Well, I think the former senator wants to rejoin government, and that's why he's making a loud noise about this. No, I cannot see how he can have any personality to have all this information. But in any case, the former president is hardly bothered by this. Nagsalita na po siya, mamamatay muna siya bago siya mapapayat na pustahan ng mga dayuhan. Lahat ng gusto magsampa ng kaso sa kanya, gaya ni Congressman na Frank, ay po pwede magsampat, haharapin naman dito sa hukuman, sa harap ng mga Pilipino, mga maestrado. Yan ang po posisyon ni Presidente Duterte. Mamamatay muna siya bago siya haharap sa mga dayuhan.
Attorney, nabanggit
Yes,
din
po.
ni ex-President Duterte more than a month ago na kung merong magsaserve ng international warrant sa kanya ay imamassacre niya. Is that a serious threat or a joke?
I don't think with the physical condition of the
Ayun,
president,
natawa tayo.
he can actually implement that. No? Talaga naman kung lahat tayo pupunta rin doon, but he's now turning 79. No? He's turning 79, no? And I don't think he's in a position to do that. Pero he has said na mamamatay muna siya bago siya magpapahuli dyan sa ICC na yan.
Okay, so attorney, figure of speech, parang kumbaga, kamukha ng dati. The statements of...
Opo, dahil he is not in a position to implement that. Yung huling rally po sa Cebu, isa ako sa umakay sa kanya, galing sa stage, alam niyo, napating ko din, talagang age makes you shrink in size. No? Parang lumiit na rin ang ating presidente dahil sa kanyang advantage ngayon.
Okay, is he well, Mr. Secretary?
He's as well as 79-year-old could be, no? Pero syempre, it's a natural aging process.
Okay, we'd like to backtrack a bit, Mr. Secretary. Where are we now in this ICC process? We'd just like to find out how credible or how possible or probable this statement of Senator Trillanes that by mid-June or third quarter of this year there could be an arrest warrant. Theoretically, there could be an arrest warrant. So where are we in the process? Do we know? I mean, I understand na granted na tapos na yung investigation, may mga witnesses na nakausap. An arrest warrant, we are told by Ed a while ago, the ICC does not even have to announce publicly that there is an arrest warrant if ever they do issue one. So where could we be? Where might we be now in the ICC process, Mr. Secretary?
Well, let me be clear that Trillanes is full of hot air because the entire proceeding, while it's under preliminary investigation, as a lead council member of the ICC, it's kept confidential. So that's all hot air. However, I am in a position to say that we know when the ICC investigators came into the Philippines, which already is a violation of our sovereignty. We know that they were not prevented from investigating. And we know also that while the president has verbally said that he will not cooperate with the ICC, he has refused so far to reduce that into writing. So we are not discounting actually cooperation. And we are, of course, ready with all our legal options.
Pero sir, as far as you know, did anybody from government officially cooperate in that investigation that you mentioned? Yes, they did come here, they were not prevented, and the president says that they will not cooperate, but as far as you know, did they cooperate?
In relation do sa tanong ni Ed, attorney, nabanggit nyo last December na ang tingin nyo ay may involvement si President Bongbong Marcos dito sa kasong ito at hindi lang si Speaker. No? Ganun pa rin ba ang pagtingin nyo?
Well, natural po, no? Dahil nakapasok yung mga investigador dito sa Pilipinas. So, alam naman natin na talaga naman po nga naka-ehekutibo ang Immigration Department. No? At hindi naman tinago ng mga tao kung sino sila. No? Kaya nga may-record na kanilang pagpasok, may-record na kanilang paglabas. No? Sa amin, wala naman yun kasi wala kami pakialam sa ICC. Kaya mag-cooperate, kaya hindi ang gobyerno ng Pilipinas, hindi na namin yun na pinapansin. Dahil basta kami, sigurado kami na sa batas wala ng restriction ng ICC at sigurado kami na mamamatay muna ang Presidente Duterte bago siya susuko dyan sa ICC.
Tony, himayin ko lang po yan. Himayin ko lang po yan kasi sabi niyo, they came here and they made known to immigration that they are ICC. How does, I mean, you were...
No, they are.
Yes, sir.
They never hid them that they were really from the ICC.
Yes, sir.
Kaya nga itong sinasabi nila na no cooperation, pinapasok nila eh. Alam naman nila yan kung anong gagawin, hindi naman para mag-swimming yan sa Boracay.
But for example...
Yes, sir. Despite na nagpakilala sila.
Yes, sir.
So Attorney, you're saying that they came, they did their investigation, they talked to witnesses. So, in theory, an arrest warrant could be ready by third quarter.
Well, that's what I said, no? We really don't care because that's issued without jurisdiction and also they have to reckon with Philippine court. Kung babasahin niyo po yung Rome Statute, hindi naman yan motu proprio na dadalhin nila ang akusado, no? Pupunta pa rin sila sa lokal na hukuman. At ang practice po kami na kahit yung hukuman naman ay hindi magdedesisyon na the Philippines is unequal and unwilling. Kasi kung may judge na magdedesisyon na ganyan, ay dibogi na natin ang Korte Suprema natin dito sa Pilipinas.
Okay, I wonder lang,
Tony, do
Mr.
you have a specific date kung kailan sila dumating dito? Yung ICC, when they declared to the BI?
We do not bother with that anymore. Kasi position nga namin, wala kami pakialam sa kanila eh. Pero, if need be, nandyan po yung informasyon na yan, nasa amin po yung informasyon na yan. Pero to us, it's irrelevant.
Pero sir, do you, as far as you know, did they meet with anybody in the government? Cabinet members, undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, directors, so down the line. We're not talking about rank and file or SPO1, SPO2. Anybody from government of senior standing?
I have no personal knowledge, but I believe so.
What makes you say that, sir?
Well, I've only heard on the basis of hearsay, and that's why I'm not in a position to announce it, no? But on the basis of information received, high-level government officials met with the investigators.
High level? How high, sir? I understand your qualification. This is information you came across. But how high
The
was
second
it?
highest government salary classification.
The second highest.
One notch lower than the salary grade of the president.
Ano yung second highest?
Cabinet. I mean, second highest. I mean, one notch lower than the president daw.
pretty high.
Di ba, Vico yun? Attorney, mahuhula pa kami yan.
Attorney, dati nabanggit nyo
Yung
na...
numero na kanilang license plate.
Attorney,
Ano daw?
Attorney, ano yun? Sorry, can you remind, sir? Ano sabi po niyo?
Sabi ko, wag na natin
Ano yung
pag-usapan
numero?
yung numero na kanilang plaka.
Wag na natin
ano yung
pag-usapan
numero?
May
yung
Ano yung
special
numero?
plates.
Oo.
May special plates.
Ano naman yan? One and then
Ano yung numero?
single
Ano yung
digit yan.
numero?
Malamang yan, single digit.
Single digit.
Oo, single digit.
Pero ano
Mami.
naman ito?
Single digit hanggang cabinet siya na. Hanggang cabinet member yun.
No, I think, it's because we are ready with our legal options. That's why we're
Okay.
ready with our facts.
Attorney, you mentioned kanina, sabi mo, you think Trillanes wants to go back to government. And he admitted to us na naging facilitator siya ng mga ICC liaison with the witnesses. You think the government is supporting his facilitation kahit informally?
I don't know if there's such a thing. Again, I'm a risk counsel in the ICC. No? I am not aware of any such position as facilitator. Maybe he appointed himself.
Okay.
But you
Attorney,
think the administration might be behind what he's doing para maging parang ganyan nga, yung informal liaison between witnesses and ICC probers? Do you see the administration's hand in this?
Alam nyo, ma'am, we really don't give,
Ahot.
we don't
Yun na
care.
lang.
Because we know that legally the court has no jurisdiction and we will exhaust all legal remedies, including, of course, the fact that it is mandatory to face Philippine courts first before they can actually bring an accused to the ICC. It is not as simple as putting him in a private plane and bringing him to the Hague. They will
Okay,
have to bring him before a local court in the Philippines.
Mr. Secretary, I just wonder, it's clear to us your position on the legal implications of this. I wonder lang, Mr. Secretary, whether you've calculated or projected the political implications of this development that you're just confirming to us today. How does this impact, of course, unity or the relationship of the president with the vice president? I mean, after all, tatay po niya yun, ano? And other things like that.
Let's just say that the palentong of the president on the ICC, and there was in fact a palentong as articulated by the Justice Secretary, is very much responsible for the state of the unity now. Had it not been for this flipping of position on the ICC, we probably would still have a unity team to speak of. No? So this actually marked the beginning of the end of unity when the Secretary of Justice made a 360-degree turn on the issue of cooperation. And after that 360-degree turn, the refusal to reduce in writing the non-cooperation with the ICC has further worsened the relationship. So if there is a warrant of arrest and if there's cooperation, well, that definitely seals the pocket.
Will this souring of relations between, I don't know what to call it now, but will this souring of relationships somehow reflect in the coming midterms, Mr. Secretary?
I do not know, but I think the image of the president attempt to arrest the president in the near future would have a profound impact on the political landscape.
Does the vice
remember that President Duterte, former President Duterte, is still the most loved president, according to public opinion surveys, and is still the front runner, I should say, in the Senate election if he were to run as candidate. So this would be a major political event which may affect greatly the Marcos administration.
In 2019, the then Mayor Sara Duterte campaigned heavily and carried the Duterte ticket to victory. No, are we going to see the same involvement of the Vice President in this midterms? Will she lead a Duterte new opposition senatorial slate? Will she lead it on the campaign trail? Do you see that happening?
Well, I do not have any authority to speak for the Vice President, but all I can confirm is that the Dutertes are now one politically.
Are one?
Yes. They are united politically now.
Are one. Attorney, the PDP Laban said they are not supporting the call of the Duterte family for the ouster of President Marcos. Kumusta yung PDP Laban, the party of the former president?
Again, I'm so sorry. I was never a part of the PDP Laban.
Nagbago na ba kaya ng isip si former president about running for public office again in 2025 or 2028? Kasi he's ranking high, as you mentioned, in the Senate polls. Nagbago na kaya siya naisip about his complete retirement? Babalik kaya siya sa politics?
I do not think so. Although things could change, no? But I know, and I have heard him many, many times, that he's done with politics.
Does the Vice President have plans of her own for the midterms?
Vice President Duterte?
Vice President Sara Duterte, yes, Mr. Secretary.
She doesn't have any plans for running, no? But as to whom she will support in the Senate, I do not know.
But so if the ICC does issue an arrest warrant against the former president, could that by any chance force his hand in perhaps running for public office in next year's election?
I don't think it will influence the president to run for election, but it will influence the people to probably make a stand, a united stand against the arrest of the former president.
Attorney, nabanggit nyo dati na kung sakaling hindi mamatay si President Duterte at makuha siya ng ICC, sabi nyo kayo yung magiging abogado niya sa ICC case?
Yes, as I said, all our legal options are ready. We know what to do for any contingency at this point.
Attorney, I know you're trying to. I know you don't want to say the name of whoever met with the ICC, but if you don't mind, I'd just like to narrow down a bit. Are we talking about somebody from the executive, or not necessarily? Could it be somebody from the legislature?
I would rather leave it at that because, as I said, I have no personal knowledge. I just heard.
Okay.
Attorney, is there any legal way for the government to turn over the former president to the ICC even if the country does not rejoin the Rome Statute? Kasi parang may ganung implication na pinag-aaralan yata ngayon. Yung option na yan. Is there any such option?
Well, they always have that option to cooperate because, after all, the ICC has no capacity to enforce the warrant of arrest on its own. They are wholly dependent on the cooperation of the member states. The problem is we are no longer a member state, and as I said, under the Rome Statute, now what they seem to have forgotten is that there is also a mandatory recourse to local court. So at least ascertain the identity of the person sought to be arrested on behalf of the ICC. No? So there is recourse to local courts before an accused before the ICC is shipped out to the Hague.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, how does the Vice President, Sara Duterte, feel about this development? That the government, which she is still, the administration in which she is still officially part of, is cooperating as to regarding the arrest of her father.
You know, verbally, they say that they are not cooperating. So she's taking that on its face value, but I have to say that no one understands why they don't want to reduce it into writing. In fact, any person, when you ask them, why don't you reduce it into writing? Because that would be the basis for a policeman to refuse apprehending either the president or the vice president pursuant to such a warrant. And of course, no one knows why they don't want to reduce it into writing. It can only indicate that since it is verbal, it can be changed also in a verbal manner.
Kung sakali, attorney, na papasukin ng gobyerno yung ICC sometime this year, kung sakali, mananatili ba sa cabinet si Vice President Sara Duterte?
Well, una po, nakapasok na sila.
Yes.
So
Pero pag
it's not
in-implement,
may mga police galing sa ICC na mag-aaresto, hindi po. Ipapadala nila yung warrant of arrest sa Department of Foreign Affairs doon through the ambassador in the Netherlands. At ang DFA ang magpapadala niyan dito sa mga ahensya ng Pilipinas. So, pagdating sa aresto, wala na pong dahilan para pumasok sila sa Pilipinas. Ganun po yung proseso. Wholly dependent sila on the operation of the member state. And of course, we have ceased to be a member.
But attorney, is the Vice President aware of the number one, of the entry of the ICC into the country? Number two, of the cooperation of certain officials of government with the ICC while they were here. Number three, the cooperation of senior members of the administration with the ICC while they were here. Is the Vice President aware of this? And kasi when she's asked about it, when they both are asked about it, parang wala, okay lang kami, ganun. So it makes you wonder, are they really okay, or are they or is there something underneath?
All I can say is I have given them both, father and daughter, a thorough briefing on why the court no longer has jurisdiction, and they're both lawyers, and they understood why the court has ceased to have jurisdiction, especially since there's already a precedent in the ICC itself, that of Burundi. And that is the context by which they're dealing with this matter. They're confident that the court really has ceased to have jurisdiction.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you're referring to the legal matter. I'm asking about the political matter. In this case, the Vice President and her political relations with the President, given the apparent cooperation of senior members of the administration with the ICC.
Well, put it this way, I don't think there's any risk that they will be brought to the Hague at all because of the lack of jurisdiction. And secondly, I think it is the Marcos administration that should be more worried should they cooperate because of the political backlash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Are we
Yes, sir.
okay?
Yes, sir.
Ami?
We're trying to look for other ways to prove.
Well, there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack, Mr. Secretary. First of all, there has been an acknowledgement on your part that ICC investigators have been let inside the country.
And met
That's
with
a huge development coming from you.
That much I can confirm.
Okay. And
Mr.
with all the implications that carries.
Tatanong ko na lang, the Dutertes are now being described as the real opposition. Do you agree with that description?
Well, insofar as Vice President Duterte is not running for any position in 2025, I don't think she could be characterized as opposition, and because she's also part of the cabinet, that's farthest from being a member of the opposition.
Well, sir.
But what about the father, the brothers, the Duterte camp?
Well, the father has always made it public that he did not support him when he ran for president, and he has publicly said that he is a weak leader, and he has even publicly called him a drug user.
Well, sir, let me rephrase my question. Hindi ba ikinagalit ni VP Sara Duterte yung kaalaman na nakapasok, pinapasok at nag-cooperate ang mga matataas na opisyal ng gobyerno sa ICC?
Alam mo kasi, pag abogado ka, kampante ka kapag walang jurisdiction eh. Malinaw na malinaw kasi yung kawalan ng jurisdiction, so gawin nilang gusto nilang gawin. Pero may remedyo sa batas ng Pilipinas, sa batas ng international law, no?
Yes,
So malinaw po sa kanila yan.
Yes,
Wala
sir.
silang katakot-takot dahil paano naman sila abogado, alam nila kung paano pumasa ng mga desisyon at paano basahin na isang tratado.
Yes, sir. I understand, sir. Pero maaari namang kampante ka, pero galit ka.
Well, let's just say, yun nga, yun yung frustration ni Presidente Duterte na Presidente natin ay drop out, no? So di niya naintindihan yung mga nangyayari, no? At kaya nga sinasabi nga yan na ito yung dahilan na hindi niya nasuportahan niya ng tumakbo yan.
Okay, ganito na lang, Secretary, the discovery na nagkaroon ng cooperation, did it shock, anger, or ano pa ba? Annoyed or irritate?
Disturb.
Irritate, disturb the Vice President.
What adjective do you think would be appropriate?
O kaya, hindi mo lang ba siya kinimbrihan considering that she might be also arrested? Hindi mo lang ba siya kinimbrihan?
Naghanap tayo ng salita.
Isa pa yan, ha?
Ayan,
Isa pa yan, kapatin si VP Sara na walang dahilan para siya madawit siya dahil dinawit lang siya nung naging Vice President na siya.
Right.
So, kumbaga, after the fact, nung naging Vice President, dinawit siya. No? I don't think any prosecutor will miss that point. No? Pero as whether or not they're surprised, kasi naman, yung pagpasok ng mga investigador is shortly after the House passed a resolution in joining cooperation with the ICC. So, hindi na sila nagtataka.
Okay.
Sir, huling na, sir. We're looking for the appropriate adjective that would describe
The reaction.
The reaction of the VP.
At the knowledge and discovery.
What do you think would be the appropriate
there has been-
adjective?
Dedma. Dedma was the reaction. Yeah.
Okay, fair, Mr. Secretary. Eto na lang, Mr. Secretary, kayo po ba may sariling plano
Ano nga
para
ba
sa
English ng
midterm
Dedma?
elections?
Hindi ko alam kung ano yung English ng Dedma.
Nonchalant.
For the benefit of
Nonchalant.
those
Nonchalant.
Nonchalant.
Nonchalant. Uy, napakabigat naman yun. Okay.
Di ba?
Okay,
Eto na lang,
nonchalant.
Mr. Secretary, kayo po ba may plano kayo sa midterms na tumakbo?
Ano, no?
Kayo po ba ay may plano para na tumakbo nitong midterm elections? Yan.
Ay, araw-araw po tumatakbo ako sa treadmill.
Ayun, okay. Parang variation to ng sagot ni Senator Lacson. Don't ask me a question, I'll tell you no lies.
Parang variation din yan ng video ni Secretary sa TikTok. Nasa gym siya.
Ano yun? Araw-araw yan. Okay, thank you for joining the Storycon. Attorney Harry Roque, former presidential spokesperson of President Duterte.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Salamat po.
Attorney.
Bye-bye po.
Thank you, sir. You're watching Storycon on One News. You just need to take a break. We'll be back in a bit.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group. We've got the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to the Story Conference. I'm Patrick Paez.
I'm Ed Lingao, also with us Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Tito Ronald Llamas, our resident pundit. Talagang piniga-piga natin si...
Minsan de facto, minsan resident, minsan tito.
Tito pa.
Oo. Alam mo, Ami, napansin ni Joey Francisco, no, he's watching right now. Sulat ka rin na sulat. Mukhang may storya ka na for tomorrow.
Siyempre, may follow-up yun.
Yun, no. Follow up sa banner.
Ami, ano yung angulo mo?
Ano yan? Gagaya na lang kami.
Ang dami-dami, no? Ang
Harry
dami-dami
Roque
reaction.
confirms entry of ICC.
Yan, no. Well,
Ayun, pwede ka ng journalist, ha?
Yeah, but this is the first time they've actually acknowledged, no, na
Yeah.
no, we've been
Napumasok na.
from their part. From their part, na
Kahit-
alam nila,
Yes.
we know that they were let in.
Kahit pinipilit ni Ed Lingao na sabihin yung adjective.
Oo, yun lang. Ano? What was the adjective they used? Deadma.
Dead man, nonchalant.
Not anger, not shock, not surprise, not disappointment. Deadma.
Kasi we keep
Nonchalance.
asking him for reaction. He goes back to, wala naman yan.
Of course they're angry. Sabi nga ni Digong, imamassacre ko sila. Sabi ni Digong, imamassacre ko sila pag serve nila ng warrant.
Hindi na raw kaya. Not in his condition.
Kaso meron 350 guns na registered. So, sino hahawak nun?
Daig ka, di ba?
Pero iba yung iba yung investigation, informal yan at iba yung arrest warrant.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So may katwiran sila na medyo mahirap-hirap yan. At saka bago yun narinig ko na, yun nga yung dinidiin ni Harry Roque na mandatory yung subject to local courts first before the ICC. Although, ang alam ko dyan hindi ba ongoing na yan Tinanong na natin yung kay Menardo Guevara
I think
Sabi
Ami,
niya
I think Ami,
yung
Harry's point
crimes
is
against humanity kailangan daw ma-establish muna na meron nga systematic doon, yung related to the 6,000 plus killings. Kailangan ma-establish muna na merong rason para file ng ganung kaso.
Actually,
yung murder as a possible crime against humanity.
Actually, na-establish na yun doon sa preliminary examination. Ngayon kasi...
Ng ICC.
Ng ICC. Ngayon, preliminary investigation Yung preliminary examination, tinitignan kung may basis ba yung crimes against humanity sa bansa natin.
Yes.
Yung preliminary investigation, person-specific na. Sino gumawa ng crimes against humanity? Nandun tayo ngayon.
Sino yung kakasuhan?
At usually, sa timeline ng ICC, 6 to 7 years yan. At nandun tayo sa ika-7th year. No? At usually, dyan lumalabas yung international warrant. Pero hindi ko maintindihan yung makipag-coordinate sa local court dahil yung basis nga kaya siya nasa ICC dahil yung local courts ay hindi effective para harapin yung thousands of killings. Thousands of extrajudicial killings. So bakit sila magko-coordinate sa local court? Yun nga exactly na yung basis ng ICC, court of last resort. Kung hindi gumagana yung ating sistema.
Although, baka ang ibig sabihin ni Harry is yung the issue of complementarity, meaning that dapat mapatunayan na hindi kaya ng local courts.
Tapos na nga yun
Kaya,
Tapos na yung issue na yun No? Tapos na
Hindi,
kaya...
yung government natin, ang position ng government natin na hindi pa tapos yung process in the Philippines. Kasi wala daw makuhang witness dito
Exactly.
to establish nga na enough cases will constitute murder as a crime against humanity.
Exactly.
Kasi mabatas naman tayong ganon
Oo.
Yun ang sinasabi naman ni Solgen.
Kaya
Na
sinasabi
hindi
ng-
pa sufficient yung number at saka yung
But I
mga
understand,
testimony.
Kaya sinasabi ng ICC, hindi gumagana yung ating system in relation do sa EJ case. No? Doon yun exactly dahil
That's why they proceeded with the
Yes.
preliminary
motu proprio
investigation.
on their own. Wala naman nagsampa
there
ng
was a
kaso sa
decision.
ICC. Sila mismo ang nagsampa ng kaso. Motu proprio.
So
Ang
they-
sinasabi nga ni Solgen, umaandar naman daw yung natin. process.
Well,
yun
binigyan
ang,
sila-
yun ang posisyon ng government.
Yeah, binigyan sila ng 1 year eh. Kung maalala mo, noong 2021, di ba? Binigyan sila ng 1 year para, humingi kasi sila ng parang palugit eh.
Sige.
No? Sige, bigyan namin kayo.
Suspended yung preliminary investigation ng ICC.
After 1 year, sabi ng ICC, wala pa rin nangyari.
So, tuloy
na.
Okay.
No? Tuloy
And
na.
that's where we are. That's where we are. Anyway, from mainit na issue na yan, let's go to Cagayan de Oro. Cagayan de Oro where the city is in a state of emergency because of a problem with water. No, let's bring in CDO First District Representative Lordan Suwan. Kong, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon,
po, Ami, Patrick, Sir Ronald, and Sir Ed.
Good afternoon, Kong.
Okay. Kong, I understand your position is that hindi na kailangan sana nagdeklara ng state of emergency si Mayor dahil sa problemang ito. Can you explain to us why you feel that way?
Opo, kasi para sa akin, parang man-made emergency siya eh. And dun sa law, RA 10121 ata yun, na it says na yung emergency is something unforeseen na situation. Hindi naman to unforeseen situation eh, kasi since last year, may problema na talaga yung water district namin na meron silang sobrang laking utang dun sa bulk water supplier na Kobe.
Okay. Kong, we'd like to backtrack a bit. Bakit po hindi mabayaran itong, I think, umaabot sa halos kalahating bilyong pisong utang ng Cagayan de Oro Water District sa bulk water supplier na bahagi ng MPIC o Metro Pacific Water? Bakit po umabot sa ganong kalaki yung amount at saka bakit hindi po nababayaran?
Yun po ang nakakapagtaka eh, kasi bigla na lang tayong kami in Cagayan de Oro, we were surprised na gano'n na pala kalaki yung utang ng water district namin. And then ngayon, parang deadline na, may threat of disconnection na. Ngayon ang namin nalaman na ganito na pala yung kalaki yung utang, bakit ngayon lang to lumabas? So it's a very worrying situation for us Cagayanon.
Nabanggit nyo, Kong, na ngayon lang lumabas. Hindi ba yan napag-uusapan nitong nakaraang mga taon kung ganyan na katagal? Talagang totally hindi siya lumalabas? Yung utang?
Hindi po eh. Last year, parang may collection efforts na yung bulk water supplier, yung Kobe. Pero ngayon lang talaga siya nabigyan ng pansin in the public kasi nga may threat na of disconnection. So, yun, nakapagtaka talaga po kasi naungulekta naman yung water district sa mga consumers. Pero yun, kami, mga Cagayanons, we're wondering where did the money go? Kasi bakit ang laki ng utang nila doon sa bulk water supplier tapos nagbabayad naman talaga yung mga tao.
Kaya nga sir, kasi if you're looking at that much debt, how much? 400 million ba?
440 million, I think. Close
Nearly
to half a billion. Close to half a
It
billion.
almost sounds like nobody has been paying it. I'm just saying that's the appearance it gives her, no? Parang kung gano'n kalaki yung utang, parang may nagbabayad ba ng
Dahil mahalaga yung sabi ni Congressman na nagbabayad yung mga...
Saan napunta?
Oo, pero bakit lumalaki pa rin yung utang? So,
bakit gano'n kalaki?
there's something wrong.
Oo.
Di ba? Dahil nagbabayad,
Siya
pero
pala.
nakakaabot ba?
Meron din kaming malaking problem dito sa water district po, sir and ma'am. Yung non-revenue water po namin ay umaabot ng almost 60%.
60%.
And from what I know, 19% lang ata yung allowed ng government. So, sobrang laki talaga. Almost 60% of the water that Cagayan de Oro Water District is purchasing from the bulk water supplier is being lost. So, siguro yun ang
Systems loss.
reason na medyo inefficient talaga.
Leakage po yan.
So, kumusta naman po ngayon, Congressman, yung water supply dyan? Kasi dito sa Luzon paghirap na, nag-uumpisa ng maghirap yung supply, nagiging tight na yung supply dito ng tubig. Sobrang init ngayon. Kumusta naman yung water supply ngayon in the city?
Opo, ngayon dito, hindi naman siya naputol dahil doon sa mga ginawa ng mayor namin. Pero it still does not address the problem, which is the debt of water district towards the water supplier. So hindi pa naputol yung supply ng water, pero sa tingin ko kasi parang band-aid solution lang tong nangyayari dito sa city. We still have to address the root cause of the problem.
Okay, Congressman, what do you think is the way forward out of this stalemate? Parang may deadlock po between the Cagayan de Oro Water District at saka yung supplier, Metro Pacific Water. What is the way forward ho para matapos ho to at magpatuloy-tuloy ang supply ng tubig dyan sa Cagayan de Oro?
Tumutulong ba kayo, Congressman, together with other elders of the city para ma-resolve yung impasse na yan?
As a congressman, hindi naman talaga kami may control sa water district. So yung ginawa ko lang, I sought the help of the local water utilities administration, yung LUA, para mag-intervene sila dito kasi sila naman talaga yung regulatory agency for all water districts. And nag-set naman sila ng meeting, kaso lang hindi pumunta yung members of the board ng Cagayan de Oro Water District. So it seems that they don't have a sense of urgency. And yung kailangan talaga natin dito moving forward ay sincere and effective dialogue between the supplier, Kobe, and the water district. Kailangan talagang upuan to, walang uwian hanggat hindi ma-solve yung problem. Kasi it's very hard living with the threat of water being cut off.
Yeah.
Especially for Cagayan de Oro po, I understand it's a boom town there in Mindanao. Second richest city outside of Metro Manila, second only to Baguio City. So,
Yes.
medyo importante po yung tubig, ano?
Kung riches, ba't hindi
Congressman,
nakabayan?
are you considering legal action sa ngayon? Pinag-aaralan niyo ba a possible legal action against the water district o kung sino man dyan? Pwede kaya yan?
Hindi naman legal action in the sense na going to the courts, but the one thing that I can do as a congressman ay dalhin siguro to sa Congress through a legislative inquiry para kung hindi talaga sila makipag-usap dun sa supplier. Kasi from what I know, yung supplier, yung Kobe, willing naman sila makipag-usap. The only problem is yung water district, parang they're not negotiating in good faith. Hindi pumupunta yung mga decision makers nila. So yun ang problem.
Okay, Congressman Lordan Suwan of Cagayan de Oro, maraming salamat po sa oras nyo.
Salamat, Kong.
Thank you,
Maraming
Congressman.
salamat po. Good afternoon.
Okay. Mukhang gusto pa rin yung balikan yung ICC. Yung talagang mainit,
Wala
no?
pa siya nakuha adjective.
Oo, wala ka pa rin nakuha. Hindi mo matanggap yung DEDMA. Hindi mo matanggap yung DEDMA.
Di, bong na barot na lang tayo, sir.
At
Si Bong Navarro, saka wala na, nasa nasa
Sumuko
bilibid
kagabi.
na.
Sumuko kagabi si Cedric Lee.
Si Cedric. He's still in NBI. Ewan ko kung napunta na sa bilibid.
NBA QC
Pero
siya
si
sumuko.
Denise, I think, nasa correctional na. And
sa
si Raz is nasa NBP na.
Medyo,
Pero pinaprocess pa si Cedric.
It's quite shocking yung naging outcome nitong kaso nito, which was celebrated at tinutukan talaga from way back in 2014. Medyo shocking na, kasi if you know the story, parang lokohan lang to ng mga di ba?
Extortion.
Mga magbabarkada na away or something like that turned really bad.
Nalumala.
Oo, nalumala.
Umabot ng Supreme Court, ha? Dumaan ng
Yes.
court ng RTC, Court of Appeals, tapos nag-Supreme Court.
Saka halos isang dekada. Halos isang dekada yung kaso.
Yeah.
Ang tagal, ano?
Yeah, and
And it's not even finished. Mag-a-appeal pa yan, eh.
I thought na puro appeal to, appeal.
Yeah.
In the meantime, nakalaya. Hindi pala, diretso pala, diretsong kulungan.
Hindi, nakalaya sila in the sense na nag-bail.
Bail.
Hindi, ngayon.
Yes.
Nakabail pa sila.
Hindi na.
Hindi
Naka-bail
na.
sila until ng promulgation.
Cancelled
Right,
na.
but now,
Wala na.
Nag-append sila, diretso sila.
oh, that's
Pero
Cancelled na.
Pero ano pa rin yung adjective?
sa kanina. Kanina story.
Nonchalance.
Nonchalance.
Deadma.
Deadma.
Pero Ami, di ba mayroong opinion ng Supreme Court noong 2021, December, na sinasabi ng Supreme Court, consensus consensus sila na may jurisdiction ng ICC. dito
Medyo
sa...
confusing nga yan, di ba? Yan naman ang sinasabi ng iba. Medyo confusing daw yung Supreme Court ruling na yan. Baka daw kailangan i-review
Yeah.
for clarity. So ayan, umaandar din yung kasong yan. Wala naman naghihingi ng clarity, but if matuloy itong arrest warrant, baka merong mag-file nga for clarity. Dahil pinag-aaralan na, di ba pinag-aaralan, binanggit yun ni Senator Trillanes na may mga option na pinag-aaralan na pwede ngang magkaroon ng ganong klaseng jurisdiction. Even without rejoining the ICC.
Yes, because the case happened before we left.
Yes.
Okay. Ami,
Kaya
Ronald,
ano?
Bok, thank you for joining the Story Conference today. Ami, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, and former Presidential Political Affairs Advisor Ronald Llamas.
Weekend na bukas ha, hindi Huwebes ngayon.
Oo nga.
Yun ang want to niyo ako eh.
Happy weekend, Ami.
Okay, Jessica tomorrow, Jessica on Monday at 4 p.m. for
sinabi
the
na.
Story Conference. I'm at Lingao.
I'm Patrick Paez, and we are One News, all sides, all the time. This is the Story Conference Group, or the Storycon Group.